Hey! Yo everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing DC Universe Rebirth Batman Detective Comics, Volume 1, The Batman. So Batman often has the title of Loner, Dark Knight Vigilante, raging his private war on crime. Sounds pretty good, but he's not really a loner. Actually, that's further from the truth. Batman has probably the largest extended family out of any comic book character. Actually, he probably has more allies and family members than there are Justice Leaguers. I mean, let's just do a tally right now. Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin, Robin, Batgirl, Orphan, Batwoman, Azrael, Batwing, Commissioner Gordon, Alfred Pennyworth, Black Canary, Huntress, Charizard, Jean-Luc Picard, Luke Skywalker. A few of those I might have thrown in there myself, but for the most part, Batman throughout his whole entire tenure as a vigilante has some kind of supporting character, some kind of sidekick, some kind of Batman family member. And oftentimes these family members would go off and have their own comics. Like right now there's a Nightwing ongoing series, Red Hood and the Outlaws, a Batgirl, Batwoman series, and for the most part these books do pretty well. I mean, if you just put Bat on it, it's pretty successful. But not always is the case. Sometimes characters don't always hold the attention of fans as much on their own individual comics and tend to work better on teams. This is nothing against the characters at all. Just in general, some characters work better on teams, and some characters work better when they have a large supporting cast around them rather than just having their own individual series. Some characters can do both, like Nightwing. Nightwing works good on teams, but he works good on his own individual series. I'm straying far from the point. The point is this, is that when Detective Comics got its rebirth, renumbering, also, it decided to take a different approach. An approach that I've wanted in comic books for Batman for quite some time. A team consisting of Batman and his allies working together to take down evil in Gotham. And the team originally starts off with Batman, Bruce Wayne, Batwoman, Red Robin, Spoiler, Orphan, and the newly reformed villain, now hero, Clayface. Eventually, we got other members thrown in there. Batwing shows up, and Azrael show up as members too, and the family kind of grows. And this book right here is the foundation of what would be the current Detective Comics run. Even up till right now, although things are a little shaky, we still have that concept of Detective Comics being that book about Batman and his allies. So exactly how does this team form, and what are their first challenges when they come together? Let's get right into that. The basic gist of this is Batman, along with working with Tim Drake, decide to make a team of Dark Knights, really calling themselves the Batmen, for lack of a better term. Think of it as Batman Incorporated, but on a smaller scale. And to do this, Batman needs to have foundation. He needs leadership. Not just from himself. I mean, Batman has proven time and time again that he's a good leader. He's strategically sound. I mean, he basically leads the Justice League more often than not, and the Outsiders, and various other teams. But he needs someone to be his partner in crime, someone to help him out. And he calls upon none other than his cousin, Batwoman. Now, Batwoman works as kind of a drill sergeant of sorts, which works with her character because, I mean, she was in the military. But she is there to train the team while Batman out on the field, along with Batwoman, co-lead the team. I guess at the end of the day, Batman is ultimately the big head honcho and in charge, but he works as like a partnership between him and his cousin, rather than just him pointing and giving orders. And ironically enough, their first challenge is with Batwoman's father and a new group of vigilante soldiers called the Colony, who are looking to take Gotham and scrub away all the evil, no matter the cost. A lot of us has ideals and philosophies clashing with each other. How to approach things, how to be a hero, how to take down crime. All these questions get asked, and there's a couple that get answered. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. I love the concept, right? I love the concept of Batman having a comic devoted to the Batman team. Not just the Batman team, but the ones that don't have their individual comics. With the exception of Batwoman, none of these characters have their own individual series. So the ones that do, Red Hood, Nightwing, Batgirl, are relatively not present. I think in the Rebirth run, with the exception of 1 or 2 issues, they don't really show up in Detective Comics. Not just that, I really love the lineup. I mean, you got Tim Drake, who's been missing from Gotham, for lack of a better term, since the New 52. He's really been on the Teen Titans more than anything. You got Orphan in there. Cassandra Cain finally stepping into a role of herself. Spoiler is starting to step up as a hero in Gotham. And I love the concept of Batwoman being co-leader of this team. I think she's the closest thing that Bruce is going to get to real family. Well, she is. She's his cousin, but they work more like siblings in a very interesting way. It actually is pretty funny when Batman first approaches her in this great little scene. He takes off the cowl and he goes, "Between family," and she just sits there and she's like, "I was wondering how long it was going to take for you to reveal your secret identity." And Batman's shocked. He's like, "What?" And he's like, "Please, you're not the only detective here." I think this Detective Comics has done so much for the character of Batwoman, taking her in so many different directions, in later volumes too, but it does a very good job with her in this volume also. Tim Drake is a huge focal point of this, especially because he is teetering back and forth on whether or not to leave the life of a vigilante and a superhero to go and do good as a student at Ivy University, to possibly solve a lot of the world's problems as a thinker rather than a fighter. And it's an interesting kind of contrast between what the character wants and what the character thinks he should do, and there's different motivations to why he's part of this group, which ultimately leads to one of the most heart-filled and touching moments at the end of the book between Spoiler and Batman. No spoilers, but something happens in which the two have an interaction, which is very, very deep. Overall, the new enemy that gets introduced is not really in... I don't want to say they're new, but they are new. The concept of the colony and General Kane basically leading this group to fight against evil and corruption and crime, and also to take on Batman and his group, the Batmen. It's a really cool concept, and it has wheels, right? It lasts beyond this particular story arc. You see more of them, and they become more important later as we go. Bad. Not really. Clayface gets introduced to here, and Cassandra Cain too, and I enjoy them both, but they don't get as much light as the other characters. I think that is reserved for later issues, of course. But besides that, I can't say there's too much bad about this. I enjoyed it thoroughly through and through, and I think this is one of the strongest starts to the Rebirth saga. If you are looking to get into a Batman comic, but you want to have a lot of the Batman family, this is where you should go. And not just that, if you want some strong storytelling, this is definitely a prime place to go too. I would recommend this to anyone that just wants to jump onto Batman in general. And more of the more recent stuff. If you wanted to get in Batman, I would probably recommend some other things. But if you want to get in some of the more recent stuff, I mean, this is a good place to start too. You don't need any backstory. You can probably Wikipedia the characters you don't know and get used to them. And any backstory that you might need is usually told right in here. Solid read through and through. Really enjoyable. And I like where Detective Comics starts and goes from here. So I do recommend picking this up. I don't think it's a must-have, right? I think some of the other Batman books are must-haves, but in saying that, you can't go wrong getting this. With that said, this is Andrew saying peace out for now.